Another Sunday Sessions. I'm Danny.
And it's me. I haven't joined the Blue Man group.
Guess who's back?
It's Mr. Fishlayer himself.
Get on, mate, get on. So then, mate.
Yeah, back for another one.
It's been another week.
Yeah, they say I'm like a rubber ball, bouncing back for more.
Was it a bad smell? One of them. Yeah. So then, what have you been up to, mate?
I've been up to a fair bit this week. It's been another pretty busy week. I've done a few sessions and out on the boat this week actually. Went to it's getting to this stage now where I'm starting to get a little bit obsessed with gilt heads, and I keep on rolling the dice and every opportunity going for gilt heads. And actually, locally where I am, it's not the best thing to do anyway. There's not really,
no.
It's not. They're not prolific there at the best of times, and with all the heavy rains and all that we've had, you know, you're definitely running against the tides, but I just keep doing it. I don't know why. There's something that just keeps me getting drawn back to them. They're right little bastards, those gilt heads.
Yeah, right.
So needless to say, I've done a couple of... So I went out... it was the Easter weekend last weekend. I went out over the bank holiday weekend. Wanted to go and do some place fishing to start with on the boat. I couldn't get any drift whatsoever. I was just almost just sitting dead in the water. And... I had a meal to go to in the afternoon, family and all that business for Easter. So I thought, swerve this. I'll leave there and shoot off and try for a few gilts. Went and tried for a few gilts, blanked out. I managed to catch one small eye and a load of dogs while I was dead in the water on the place grounds. And that was that day done with. That was the bank holiday weekend. As exciting as it was, one small eye. I got a message from somebody who saw my boat actually. And they were like, oh, was that you out there on the place grounds? And I was like, yeah. I had to go before the tide was moving. How did you get on? They were like, well, I had 8, and my best one was like 48 centimetres. Like, remind me to block this guy.
Yeah, blocked. Yeah.
Mental note. But yeah, so that's it anyway. But actually, he like he said it, after I zipped off, about an hour later, they started to get a bit of drift. So when you're place fishing, if you're not drifting, you're not catching. No. That's my experience, you know. So that was that. And then... actually, yesterday I went out and done a pretty long day out on the boat again.
Oh, sorry, I interrupt you, because I presume they cancelled that place comp.
They've cancelled the place comp again now. That is being scheduled back end of May, June time now.
Fucking weather.
Trying to keep it safe, you know. But to be fair, you get placed there all the way through, so there's not going to be an issue with catching fish. It's just about when we can rally the troops together and get back out there. But so that was another one that bit the dust. But yesterday I went out on the boat bright and early in the morning and partook in a little bit of your game, to be fair. Went just with a little...
dirty bastard.
Went with a lightweight spinning rod, 3,000 size reel, £20 braid, and just kept it really just single rod all day. I started off, zoomed out to the Eddystone.
Good bit of fun.
Yeah, I had one bass 50 centimetres. I had a few mackerel, a couple of pollock. Wasn't the easiest fishing, to be honest. There was a shitload of commercial boats there trying to muscle you all over the place like they do, thinking they own the fucking sea.
One-liners, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, whenever you go to the Eddystone, you will see a shitload of commercials.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against them at all, you know, and I would say this to everybody who's listening who's got small boats as well, because I hear this a lot, actually, just to go off on a tangent. The commercial fishermen will try to bully you around. They'll cut across your lines. They'll come close. You know, they almost try to muscle you out of the area. Fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't own the sea.
No, you've got every right to be there.
Everybody has a right to be there. Stick to the etiquette. Don't, go down on them and don't go down on them.
Fucking hell, man. Well, I mean, that's
definitely don't go down on them.
I mean, that may make the headlines, mate. I mean,
possibly if you went down on them, they would let you in to their spot.
Yeah. They'll stay well clear of them, then. Fucking hell.
But no, don't go in their drift line. Is what I meant. Keep to the fishing etiquette, but do your fishing. I hear it so, I speak to a lot of people and loads of people say, they're knobheads. you know, and this is not a generalisation, but a lot of people tell me that they know them away from their boat, and when they get out there, they call it bass fever. You know, they just get snarling and, you know, get out of my. I've got to earn a living. You know, well, it cost me 30 quid's worth of fuel to get out there. You know, do you think I'm throwing my money up the wall? No chance. Yeah, no. You know, so don't get muscled out. If you're going out there and you're doing it, don't get muscled out. Be polite to them and just do your fishing and just keep your head down and get on with your fishing. You know, I've been in, yesterday I was literally in amongst a ring of maybe 12 boats, commercial rod and line boats. No arguing, no issues whatsoever, but every now and then you can see them, they are sort of giving you a look or a snarl. It's funny really because they've got 11 other rod and line guys next to them and they're all just shoulder to shoulder, but one, you know, pleasure angler, it's a bit, you know, try to, you know, at one stage I was sort of, you know, going round because there's areas where the fish are going to sit. There's like a big pinnacle on the out of the Eddystone. It comes right up from like, you know, 80, 100 foot, and then it pops right up to like 30 foot or something. And they're sitting around that, obviously, with the tidal movement.
I've been out there many times.
Yeah. And you'll see the commercials sort of tend to sort of arc around that. It's almost like trout fishing, you know, when you find where the fish are and you've got like a ring of boats.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're sort of shuffling, you drift along with the tide, then you go back up round, drifting back round.
Yeah.
So I'm going back up. At one stage, I was going back up round, and then this other nice commercial guy decides sort of to start up just at that time. And as I'm going sort of around the arc on the outside, he's literally cutting across. He's literally keeping the same pace as me and just pushing me along, out, and I'm thinking, when are you going to stop? You know, and in the end, I ended up doing a great big sort of arc around him. I don't care less. I'm still going to go where I was going. You know what I mean? So they won't bully me out. No. I've got every right to be there as much as them, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of them can catch bass. That's what they do for their living, you know, and they're good. But you know, there's no need to be pissy, you know. No. But yeah, anyway, so even the commercials, I was, you know, during my session, I saw one boat come up and nab the fish straight away. And I saw that same boat catch another fish. And by the time I shot off, I didn't see anybody else catch a fish, to be honest. So, and it was getting to that stage of the tide where I think they was going to start switching on. It was just coming to the sort of the low water period and ready for the turn of the tide. But I just can't be bothered to be sort of sitting there catching next to nothing while I'm shoulder to shoulder with the commercials. You know, I've had my fish. I was happy with the fish that I caught. So my next plan was zooming across to one of the reefs called the Hands Deep. Again, very, very popular mark, or a well-known mark. And
I've enjoyed many hours pollocking out there.
Yeah, well, that's what I went for. Again, on the 50-gram rod, I used one
Spot on fun.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is.
I've done it with Sea Angler, Malkin a few times with the Shimano guys. I've done it loads of times privately as well. And it's a method that not a lot of guys back then were doing a great deal of because they thought it was Mickey Mouse. But going out there with 40, 50-gram spinner rod, I was using like fish black minnows in the 60-gram or 80-gram heads, 20-pound Power Pro braid, dropping it down there, having fucking up to like low doubles. Phenomenal fun. Yeah. Big steaming runs. I mean, and I remember many times like the local lads looking at you like you're silly because you're this silly little lure rod out place like that because they were used to banging down Portland rigs or French booms and whatnot and wanging up red gills or whatnot, and there's nothing wrong with that works a treat, but it just those sort of places
there's not as much fun in that, is there?
No, dropping down a spinning rod and a single lure rod.
You know what as well, in terms of the pollock as well, on releasing them, I find fishing them on lighter gear, you get a lot more of them that don't blow up because it takes so much longer to get them
That's up, it, yeah, because they're giving it you're not just cranking them up on a 1220, you're playing them up and allowing them to adjust better, and so you nailed it in one, and that's actually something I was going to say, but you're bang on right.
So I mean, I've started sort of implementing that into my fishing also. In terms of the pollock, I've been sort of getting them 3/4 of the way up, and then I'm just almost sort of holding them there for a little while. And actually, a couple of the fish I caught yesterday, sort of as I'm bringing them up that last little section, there's a trail of bubbles like coming up, and they're expelling it all. And I thought, you know, it's actually working. And I kept one fish yesterday, which I selected to keep, and all the rest I darted back, and every one of them went back. And I was,
a long time ago, a few years back, me and a couple of the Shimano boys, we hired out Sea Angler, took us out as a Shimano day out, a bit of a jolly, and they were doing that. They were monitoring the pollock at that time, measuring every single one. Malk was every fish out on the board, measure it, write the figures down, girth length, and then either put it back on a string and get it down, or if it was, like you say, if it was played correctly, trying to let them go. We kept a few, but that was pre any issues with it. But you're nailed it in one there. Or not only is it a really, really good, fun way to catch them, I think touch wood, it's better for the fish.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where I went to next, and you know, I did a video and I posted the video up as well. And I'm saying, you know, on the video, if you're struggling to catch fish and you've got a boat local, because I get a heck of a lot of messages privately on Facebook and whatnot, on my messenger, people, oh, how do you do it? How can I catch some fish? And I said, you know, if I was going to advise somebody where to go out of Plymouth to actually catch a few fish, I would tell them to do exactly what I did yesterday. I needed a bit of a fish hit yesterday, because I've been fishing for gilts and I blanked out a few times, and I needed to go and get my string pulled. You know, get up, crack of dawn, head to the Eddystone first of all, in first light into last darkness into first light, perfect time. I always start off, if the fish are up in the water a bit, I'll fish the sort of 360 minnows.
Yeah.
You know, the Storm 360s.
Yeah.
Only the lighter ones, the smaller sort of 16-gram ones. Yesterday, the fish was slightly further down. And when you are fishing there, keep on your sounder. Have a look what they're doing. Sometimes they will just come up in the water and you can put those 360 minnows straight through them and you'll be into them. But if they're down deep, you're not going to catch them up in the water.
100%.
I switched it up yesterday to a HTO lure. It's like a little sand eel, almost like a seeker type thing, like a little metal jig.
Okay.
It's straight, long.
Pathfinder, probably.
Yes, long, sleek, with a single hook on the back.
It's called a Pathfinder.
40 grams.
Pathfinder, definitely. Yeah.
And that's what I had my bass on. That's what I did all the damage on at the Eddystone, dropping it down towards the bottom and then just slowly lifting it, and every now and then doing a few darts, you know, and bringing it in. And that did the business. Then when I went over to the reef, I switched it up to one of Matt Forrester's Joker jigs, fished the Mayhem 60 gram, and I did about 6 drifts, had about 6 fish. I could have stayed and filled the boat up, although I let them all go, but I could have stayed and just filled my boots. But I was on a mission. I wanted to do some underwater filming also. And that was at Whitsands area. I wanted to run some place rigs with some underwater cameras going. So I left there and shot off to Whitsands Bay. As I was heading there was fucking the mother of all eruptions of birds hitting the water. It was unreal, and a biblical amount of birds, so you'd be a fool to ignore that. So I quickly whizzed the 360 minnow back on, few pitches out into the birds, and bass, took a few bass. So I ended up keeping the 50 centimetre bass. I took one of 45 centimetres that I kept, dropped one back 45 centimetres, and then I had to go and try to do my underwater filming.
Oh, fair play.
And I did the underwater filming, and it was actually pants. I should have stayed fishing because the water, there's a bit of a May bloom, I think, coming. The water's a bit green.
Yeah.
And I actually caught a few place on the underwater camera, and when I went back to study the I couldn't even see the fish on the end of the line.
Fair play.
But so that was me. That's my week done, really. I had a couple of sessions, and I've tried my best. I've caught a few fish.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice, man.
Have you been at anything?
Actually, yeah, it's been really good, actually. So I literally the same day we recorded last time, I came home, sorted my stuff out, went out the next morning down to one of my local marks. It was one of those. I went down there. I was a bit kind of underwhelmed. The tides weren't great. There was a bit of a wind coming across. It was fucking cold. But I thought, I'm here. I enjoy this spot. I know historically I've caught some good fish this time of year there. Stuck it out. 2 fish, 1 small fish, but ended up having a real absolute belter, which went 69.70 on the tape, which is a nice
That's
fish.
A good fish.
I
69.70. What would you say that is in old money? 7.
Hard to say, it was a tank as well. It was a typical estuary fish full of crab. I mean, it was probably 7 to 8 pounds.
Yeah.
It was like a barrel, like
Yeah.
a tank, jet black fish. A heavy set fish, you know. It was not a little rat thing. It was a big fish for what its size. A lot bigger. When I saw it in the water, I thought, "Fucking, that's massive!" Like, you know. And a 70 centimeter fish, can't complain. But it was a typical Danny debauchery. I was on my own. I didn't have my camera tripod with me. It was in the edge of a race. I overstayed my welcome a little bit too much. It's perfectly safe there, but it's all wading. There's no actual ground to put anything on to measure it, apart from one little bank. But when you get to the tail end of that, it's gone away from you, and you can't, when the tide's pushing it, you just can't get away from it. So by the time I'd landed it, got down, looked at it, got the tape out, the water was already like a metre past me again. I shambled up.
What you need to do is, I've seen these Americans, this American with a tape measure drawn up, tattooed onto his arm.
I did even
Like,
better. I did even
Either
better.
that, or you could drop your catch and use that to gauge.
My bass are way too big for that. But what I did, and people laughed at me, and it works a fucking treat, is I saw it. It was speckled trout anglers in America. That's where I got the idea from. Paddle boards. Glue the fish tape to the paddleboard. It floats in the water when you're wading. You just put your fish on top of the paddleboard. Perfect way. You sellotape your, if you're doing any league stuff, sellotape your ID card to it. But belly boards, tape to it, glued on, and it works an absolute treat. I didn't have any of that. I wasn't expecting to be there that late, but I ended up, it's estuary mud. I was literally shit in mud again, but this time in waders, so I was a little bit more suited for it.
Mud, glory. You'd love it,
It was
didn't you?
everywhere. It was in the reel. It was all up my rod. It was in me. I mean, where I'd gone in, it was all up to my elbows. But it was, you know, I needed that. And like you said a minute ago, sometimes you just need something to happen. That was really good because I wasn't feeling it at all. Really, it was nice to be out. Of course, nice to be out. Easter holidays had just gone. I'd been flat out with a little one. I think I said previously, my in-laws that have my daughter quite a bit for me and help me, they're in Australia for 3 weeks. So I was right on that start of like, oh, fucking 3 weeks now where working, taking Florence to work, school time. So fishing's taking a back seat for sure. So I got that one session out on the spur, spanked a really decent fish. And yeah, loved it. So
Ideal.
It was just one of those. I wish I'd had my bike. I almost called my mate, and he was like, "Well, yeah, I could probably come," but I thought, "Fuck it, I'm going. I'm not waiting." I wish it, because that would have made it. I would have really liked a really nice photograph of it, because it was an absolute corker. You might have seen it on my Facebook. I put a nice release video of it bolting off like.
I saw that, yeah.
And so yeah, I was happy with that. But I would have that one being an early season biggie. That's one that I would have loved to, but I won't sacrifice fish's health. It was sunny. It was covered in mud. I was like, I'm just gonna video this and then let it go on its way, you know. But it's good fish. I'm happy with that.
Lovely.
And then yeah, little one, as I spoke before on the podcast, my little one loves a bit of fishing. It was her first day back off the Easter holidays. I'd said no, we're not going. It was windy, it was cold. She was adamant she wanted to go. Took Florence down. I think I've got it on my Instagram here, Aaron, if you want to put it up.
I did see this. She's a little pro here, isn't she?
Yeah, yes, mate. Yeah, she absolutely fucking loves it. As you'll see here now.
She'll be able to teach you a thing or two.
Yeah, I mean, she's casting completely unaided, doesn't need any help, and she's at that age where she's got that sassy, like, I don't need help, you know. So, and I think it was you, one of them. I think I got a comment from every single person I know saying, "Oh, she's better than Daddy" and whatnot.
You know what? He's lovely though. I'm a real advocate for getting the kids and the youngsters into their
She enjoys
fishing.
it.
I love it.
You see there, she's got little waders on. She's got a full set of waders, a little bag of her bits.
I can
She's
see.
got a load of those
Well,
little pink
all
rod
she
that-
needs is just to get that big bang, and then she'll be real hooked.
That's it, yeah. Well, it's only a matter of time on there, and that little shallow estuary, it fills full of little, like, sub £2 schoolies.
Yeah.
I mean, she's caught big perch, she's caught carp, she's been there with a pike, so it's just a matter of time before she catches this bass, and she really wants to catch a bass. Like,
Yeah.
that rod's the little pink rod that was Alex Jordan, one of our guests on the podcast. That's a custom made by him. So
Ideal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she loves it. It's really nice. I've often said it's not something I would ever force her to do, but for as long as she wants to do it, I'm pleased, proudest dad ever.
Yeah,
being out
definitely.
there with her, you know. So she was blue at the end of that, and she was shivering, her teeth were chattering. And I still asked her, "Darling, we're going home now." She said, No. I want to stay. And I said, "No, we're going home." So fair play.
Good old British weather.
Yeah,
eh?
other than that, mate, no work, Easter holidays, got a couple of sessions in, got one big fish. So yeah,
Well, that's all you need.
that's it, mate. Yeah.
Go well, that good fish, did it?
Went mental. Yeah, it was a debauchery from the start. But
Yeah.
that sometimes they're the best stories, aren't they? I was
Yeah.
completely unprepared for it. Didn't have a net. It's wadeable. I can just grab them there. But the one time I wished I had a net, I didn't have my phone tripod or mate with me, but got shit eye mud. But that's all part of it. That's the story of that fishing trip is that, and I won't forget that for any time. Seeing that thing bolt off. bow waving at the
I did
planks.
see it on your socials. He was.
Yeah, it wouldn't
I
happen.
thought that's an after tidy fish.
Yeah, nice, man. It was. Yeah, it was a belter, mate. Yeah, really good. So
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Right, jolly good.
that's all, mate. Have you got any? I mean, we know. I mean, all the viewers know by now that we've your perverse sense of media that pops up on audio media. Have you got any wrong and media
honestly,
to share with us this week?
It just seems to. This just seems to fall in coincidental, but I do have a site that you could have a look at, and I would. People that follow Instagram, definitely worth having a look at this site. It's one that just popped up on my feed, and
Tread very lightly when you type this in, please.
it's called Masturbate. Oh dear!
And this time it doesn't include commercial anglers on the stone, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't put me in a very good light, but it's actually one of these spoof fishing channels that's got hundreds of different clips of all sorts of videos of people
Fishing
funny
fails
stuff,
and stuff like that, innit?
fishing
Yeah.
fails all around the world. If you like that sort of stuff, if you like to lower the tone, and it's not just fishing, it's fishing orientated stuff. You know, there's a guy that gets his hand caught in a lobster, like bit by a lobster. But I mean, this here will just show you a little.
Oh, it'll refresh
taste
me.
of what
I
it
know
is.
this one. Yeah, I know exactly what happens here. For the viewers that obviously will see this, but the audio guys, we've basically got the Instagram up. There's a video playing, and you'll hear us talk about it any minute now when it refreshes.
So I mean, basically, again, the whole site. There we go. There's a woman. She's fishing. She's lure fishing, winding in, and the rod is just ripped out of her hand by something. And the guy who's with her, probably the guide, he literally just dives head first in the drink and actually catches the rod while it's zooming across. And then you can see it. The guy is literally in the water.
Being towed around, yeah.
He's being towed by the fish around in the water.
Yeah.
You know, this is the sort of thing that I get to watch when I'm in.
I bet, Ben. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you know, forget the name of these things. You know, last week's was Chubby Nets, this week's Masturbates. That's not me googling it, I can tell you. But yeah, interesting stuff, worth having a look at. And,
I like that. It brings back to something that we spoke about a couple of times on here. It makes fishing fun. It's just something to have a laugh about. It's celebrate the good side of fishing and.
Yeah, look, sometimes it's good to have a little bit of a light-hearted viewing. It doesn't always have to be serious.
No.
You know, and those sort of light-hearted videos sometimes get your attention and will give you a bit of a crack as well, you know. Worth it, worth having a look at, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's cool. That's what it's all about, isn't it, at the end of the day. I mean, I really enjoy. I can sit there sometimes, as you do, when you got like 10, 15 minutes sitting on the sofa with your brew. Before you know it, it's an hour later. You've not done fuck all.
watching Masturbate.
Yeah. So no, I love it. I love all those sort of things, and it's good to see that sort of stuff. And like I say, it celebrates some of the more funny side to the fishing because when there is a little bit of doom and gloom or a bit of seriousness, because there is a lot of seriousness in the things with seasons changing and things like this.
Well, talking of seriousness, that's me this week. I'm getting my serious face on because I'm going to go back out on my boat again to this godforsaken river and try to catch a gilthead again.
Mate. Well, Ben, as always, mate, you will absolutely smash it because you seem to have a bit of a knack at that. So.
What smashing
Yes.
the blank?
Mate, well,
listen, if you're not in it, you can't win it.
No.
And if you
can't catch sitting on the sofa, mate.
Well, and also, he who dares wins and all that. When it comes to sort of fishing for giltheads in tough areas, it's one of these things that you might well have to put a few blank sessions in, but eventually something's going to come good.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 2 plans this year. One is to catch a monstrous gilthead in this area where I'm fishing, and I'm talking by monstrous. I'm talking a big dog pushing £10. And when you look at the British boat record is £10.2. You know,
Doable. It's not.
If in and look, I'm putting it out there. If in this next year or two you see my name on that record there, you'll know that I'm after it. It's not a fluke. I'm after that record.
Yeah, fair play, mate.
You know, in the boat,
I think it's good.
achievable.
I think it's good to have achievements and goals in your mind.
Yeah,
so
I've got my sights fixed on that, and also my other ambition this year is a very big cooches bream out on the reefs.
Yeah.
I mean, a big, massive Coochie's bream and a record gilt head. I mean, I don't want much.
Stick a fork in me, you'll be done, mate. No, look, mate, I have no doubts whatsoever, Ben. You'll smash it.
We'll do it. We'll give
and
it
I
a
look
spin.
forward to the videos of you doing it, mate. You know?
If we get that, you might well see a masturbate of a different time.
Oh, Ben's got his one out again.
On that note, I think we better just call it.
Yeah. Nice one, mate. Well, thank you so much for popping in again. I mean, the viewers won't know this, but we had a debauchery getting here today. I mean, the traffic's mental, the weather's nice, it's fucking chaos in it.
The shit we have to go through just to put this on, eh?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So, no, but as always, mate, I really appreciate the effort.
It's lovely to be
You've got
here.
to travel a fair way, and I'm not. I just jumped out on the train and I'm off here, you know? So,
It's all good. It's all good. Lovely
Appreciate
to
it,
be
mate.
here.
Good to see you, mate. And yeah, well, that's it for the guys. Thanks again to Extra Tough for sponsoring the episode. Thanks to you guys for watching it. The feedback we're getting from Sunday sessions is really good. It looks like people are really enjoying it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out Ben's channel. Why not? I mean, why not? He's there. He's got a good channel. So
It's called a little bit more.
yeah, a little bit more safer. Yeah.
Safer
Yeah.
UK fish layer. But
Nice one, man. But yeah, anyway, catch you again, and we will see you on the next episode. Cheers, guys.